vehicle.
Order. All rise. Now, this is case number 574 on the calendar in the matter of Ross versus Carter. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Miss Ross, you and Miss Carter have been having trouble for a very long time. You want to tell me how you know each other?
Okay, it all started with an ex-boyfriend that I used to have. Me and him just got into it too many times, so I told him to go back to his baby mama. That's her sister, Amete Carter, the witness.
And how long ago was that?
It's been an ongoing thing between me and him, but he's now, now in jail. So it's been 2 years me and him haven't been messing around.
All right. You have a problem with his sister?
No, it's my ex-boyfriend's girlfriend's sister.
Ex-boyfriend's girlfriend's sister.
Right.
That's you.
That's me.
In any event, according to what I read here, the two of you have mutual restraining orders against each other because there's evidently been a past history of acting out behavior on the part of both of you. And you, Miss Ross, claim that on a particular date, the defendant harassed you, damaged your car. She says you were harassing her, you damaged her car. There is a claim and a counterclaim. Tell me how long these mutual restraining orders have been in effect.
Since January the 2nd of 2002.
And tell me about this date when you claimed that your car was damaged.
On March the 6th, 2002.
All right, now I'm going to let each of you tell me your version of what happened. Go!
Okay, I was leaving my mother's house because I just got off of work. I was going to take my kids to go get them some tennis shoes, so I was on my way to my grandma's house to let my aunt know that I was coming this weekend to pick up my table. So next thing I know, I observed, this little green car behind me. So I was like, okay, why is she behind me? So then I got out my car and I took her picture.
Why did you do that?
For evidence. The police always told me to make sure I have evidence of her harassing me.
So you keep a camera in your car?
Keep a camera at all times.
So she was behind you, you stopped your car, and you jump out and you go click, 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 and then you get back in your car.
Yes.
Then what happened?
Then I proceeded to go. Then she flew around everybody else to try to get in front of me. So at that time, she finally got in front of me, started slowing down, but I seen her, so I slowed down. I said, because she's not going to catch me that way, saying that I'm harassing her. So she sat at the stop sign, just sitting there. So when I pulled up, she's getting out of her car, snapping pictures, walking towards me, telling all the other cars to go past, go on, because she just
So then she's taking your picture?
Yes.
Go ahead.
But at that time, she's steadily approaching my car. Well, I have my 2 kids in the car. So talking about, I got you now, and all other kind of little stuff, so I wasn't paying her no attention. So I went ahead, went around her. So when I got to the next block over where my grandmother stayed, I turned. Next thing I know, I'm observing her coming right behind me. So I got out my car again and took her picture. Next thing I know, I'm still watching her coming past me. She's mumbling something through her window. Then next thing I know, she tried to hit me, so I ended up jumping into my car and making a dent in my door. Then next thing I know, she just literally just turned her car into my front end and then took off. And then after that, that's when she almost hit their car. She got out her car to look at, see what was wrong with her car, and took off. So next thing I know, I'm calling the police. They came, and then they took a report, and then they asked to speak to my witnesses. And then that night...
That's not how anything happened.
Now you. I'll hear you. I'm listening.
I'm going over my sister's house, which is near Mrs. Ross' grandmother's house. I'm out minding my business because it happened on a Wednesday. My sister was supposed to go to surgery and have things done to her the next day. So to comfort both me and my sister in this predicament that we're having, I just wanted some comfort there between her and me. And we just ended up together. A block and a half up, she gets out of her car and take my picture and call me a stupid B. So when the light turned green, I sat up there and I got out my left lane and got in the right lane to make a right to go to my sister's house. So I was not following her. I don't know where she's getting this following and harassment stuff from. Miss Ross follows me up there. She takes the turn. I got out of my car and I took a picture of her. And I told her, are we going to take Kodak pictures of each other all night? I was like, leave me alone.
No, you didn't say that.
I got in my car. There's a 4-way stop sign. So I let the other cars go, thinking that maybe she was going to go where she had to go and mind her business after this little, after the picture taking. She done stopped her car, got out of her car with her car door open and started kicking my car. I stopped my car and I got out of the car and I asked her, why are you kicking my car? Why are you messing with me? She gets scared because I'm about to approach her because I was going to break her neck.
Yeah.
She gets in her car and she jumps the curb and hit my car. Then when I'm going to my car, I hear, she hit my car, she hit my car. I'm looking back, she's on the telephone calling the police like I did something. So I went up the street to my sister's house and called the police. No, I did not.
You don't speak to each other, speak to me.
So I went to my sister's house and I called the police, and the police came out there and made a report.
Okay, now which one of these witnesses doesn't know either one of you?
I don't need to know her.
Okay, so I'll hear you first. Tell me your name.
My name is Chantel Pittman.
Ms. Pittman, you don't know the plaintiff?
No, I don't.
I never saw her before this date in March.
Right, I didn't meet her until that day.
Okay, tell me what you observed that day.
Well, me and Miss Brookins was in Miss Brookins' car, and we were waiting for my daycare van to come to pick up my kids. And we seen the headlights coming, and we looked in the rearview mirror, and we was like, she just hit her car. Did you just see her hit her car?
Well, tell me exactly what you saw.
The black car was here parked. We seen the green car come around and hit the black car on the driver's side. And she pulled up behind Mrs. Brookins' car, got out of her car, left her door open, walked around to her passenger side to check to see if she had anything in her car, got back in, and when she took off, she almost hit Miss Brookins' car on the passenger side.
Would you step up here? Tell me your last name, please.
Doretta Brookins.
Miss Brookins, who was driving that day?
I was.
And you waited around to give information to the police?
Correct.
That was very nice of you.
Thank you.
If I were to ask you the same questions that I just asked the previous witness, would your testimony be the same?
Yes, it would.
Okay, thank you. You may be seated. Do you have the police reports?
Yes.
Let me see the police report, please.
That's both of ours.
And can I see the damage to your car? And the estimates, please.
Your Honor,
Yes,
can I say something?
sure.
Ms. Ross is stating that I'm harassing her because of my sister's husband. And I don't see how and why is it every time that something happens, I'm always
Because
in the
you the
middle
main
of
one.
it because I don't do
Don't
anything
speak.
to her. I'm not the only person that Mrs. Ross also harasses due to a man that she hasn't been with for the last 10 or 15 years.
Judge, she wouldn't
I
know
also
that she
have
wouldn't
a-
go to the police files.
Listen to me. Listen to me, Ms. Carter. It's clear to me that you were responsible for the damage to the bumper on her car. I'm dismissing your counterclaim because I don't believe she hit your car. The question is, are you totally responsible? And the answer is, I do not believe you are totally responsible. I believe that both of you acted badly. However, you started the trouble. You started the trouble by getting out of your car and starting to take her picture and calling her a couple of names. Instead of, you saw the green car behind you, make sure you don't go anywhere near where she's going. But two of you engaged in conduct that was so childlike. You jumped out of your car first, start snapping a picture. Then she starts snapping your picture. Then you snap her picture, then she snaps your picture. And to make matters worse, you have children in your car, acting like a fool. If you really feel as if she's harassing you, drive over to the police station.
It was too far.
Drive directly over to the police station. See if she follows you there. And if she follows you there, she's a fool. And if she doesn't, then you've avoided conflict. What you didn't do was avoid conflict.
But can I show you something else?
Yep.
This is how much she is a troublemaker. I have her little record of her history of how much of assault and battery and her
I don't have no assault and
Listen
battery.
to me. All
have
may
assault
be
and battery.
true, Miss Ross. I mean, I'm looking at your claim now. The damage to your car was only $700. The $1,000 you wanted
for the harassment because I'm
is for the
tired.
harassment. Just listen to me. If you told me that you saw her car, so you drove directly to the police station in order to avoid any possible conflict in front of your children, and she followed you and she hit your car, I would rule entirely differently. But that's not what happened. You engaged her. You engaged her, and you started the engagement by getting out of your car, taking her picture, and exchanging words with her. That doesn't excuse her conduct, but that's saying to you, you're not really being smart. If you were afraid of her,
Thank you.
you drive over to the police, and she does the same thing. I mean, she's sitting there smiling. She does the same thing. As I said, I'm dismissing the counterclaim. But I'm also dismissing that part of your claim of $1,700 that asked for $1,000 in harassment. And I'm only attributing half of the damage to your car to her. Because as far as I'm concerned, you should have kept on driving.
I did. I was going to my grandmother's house. She should have never turned down my street.
No. You should have kept on driving. You got out of your car, placing your children at risk to take her picture.
Okay, why did she get out of her car?
Listen, life is very short. You'll get lecture 304 now. Life is very, very short. You can either spend it fighting or you can spend it loving. The two of you are never going to love each other. But if you want to devote your energies to this kind of nonsense, I mean, what are you laughing about? How old are you?
I'm not laughing.
How old? Yeah, yes, you are.
No,
How
I'm
old
not.
are you?
I'm 25.
25. How old are you?
31.
Well, so you're young. You're not supposed to create friction in your lives. That's just stupid. Do you know what happens when you spend your life in conflict? You end up looking old much too soon. It's over. There's no reason for you to have any contact with each other. End it.
Yes.
Don't be
stop calling my
stupid.
phone.
Put your hand. Do I need you? I don't need you. I don't want you. Don't be stupid. End it. Put a period. No man is worth it. Husband, brother, boyfriend, whatever, especially one that's in jail.
Thank you.
Even if they're not in jail, they're usually not worth it.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
put a period and move on. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She just need to go on about her way, stop being ignorant and childish and stupid, and just leave me alone.
She's mad because I'm with a man that don't want her, ain't never wanted her, and she just sick with it. She got problems.
She trying to take up her sister's battle, but like I said, if I catch her, I'ma get her.
She's 31. She needs to move on.
Move on with her life.
Bye-bye.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Griffiths versus Giles. Step forward, please.
Alan and Tanya Griffiths are suing former friend, 32-year-old bartender Ken Giles, for stealing their honeymoon money. Ken says he didn't do it.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Griffiths, according to your complaint, the defendant, who had been either a friend or an acquaintance of yours, agreed to be the bartender at your wedding. On the wedding bar, according to you, there were two jars. One contained a jar for tips for the defendant, and the other jar was something called a honeymoon jar, where guests would come to put money, I assume, for your honeymoon.
Yes,
Is that right? And it is your claim that the defendant helped himself to your honeymoon jar.
Yes, ma'am.
To the tune of $1,500. All right, so let's get to this very quickly. Prove it.
Well, here's a list of just the ones that I could get a hold of, what they had put in there, their phone numbers, and my witness here also seen him putting money in places where not the jar.
You never saw anything.
Not as far as him taking anything personally.
Okay, good. Step up. Name.
Trisha Good.
All right, Miss Good. Tell me what you observed with regard to this.
I saw
can.
Ken put money under the can, and then later on I seen him putting money in his pockets. Earlier before...
No, let's go slowly. You saw him put money underneath
the can.
He's standing behind the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he get the money from?
The people at the wedding.
You mean people would hand him money?
They all knew that it was...
Don't tell me what anybody else knew. I'm asking you for your observations.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You saw guests hand him money.
Yes.
And you saw him place the money under the can.
Yes.
How many times did you see that?
Once.
What else did you see?
Earlier, before that, he didn't have gas money, and then later on he had money in his pockets.
There was also a tip jar, was there not?
Yes, there was.
And people gave him tips?
I don't know.
But they might have.
They could have.
And that could have been the money that he used for gas.
Could have been.
Right. So what you actually saw was somebody hand him money. Did you see how much money they handed him?
No.
You saw a bill, more than one bill?
I didn't see. I just seen green.
You just saw green, so you don't know if it was $1 or $10.
Yeah. But his tip jar was at the front of the bar. They wouldn't have handed him the tips. They would have put their own tips in there. The donation for the honeymoon was behind the bar.
So that nobody could reach that jar?
Yes.
Nobody?
Except for Ken or Susan.
Really? Okay. Now, let's hear.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, as far as the honeymoon jar, it wasn't a donation. What they were doing was charging $2 for mixed drinks.
No, you were charging for mixed drinks. You were selling them.
Yeah, you were.
They were charging $2 for mixed drinks. So we got there, and there was no money whatsoever to bartend with. I had to ask my girlfriend here to borrow some money so we could make change for people. Okay,
That's
and
a lie.
so when we got there, she gave me 10 ones, and I put it in the jar there or whatever.
What jar?
The actual bar jar. Okay, we're talking about two different jars.
We're talking about two different. One was for your tips. I assume
Yes.
that had a sign on it that says tips.
Yes, ma'am.
And the other one was a can, a coffee can.
Yes, ma'am.
Did people hand you money and say to you, put that money in that can?
No, ma'am. The only reason they ever handed me money was either for a tip or because they had bought a drink.
Okay. Did you ever take any money out of the can?
Yes, I did. I took back the $10 that
Yeah,
Susan
about
had given to us.
$1,500.
Sit down. Go ahead.
Also, I'd gone to the store twice, which I brought back receipts for Mr. Griffith. And during the course of the evening, I also informed Mr. Griffith that Tricia had been going back to behind the bar and just totally cleaning it out. She'd done that 2 or 3 times.
Well, just a second. Mr. Griffiths, Mrs. Griffiths, it's very possible that he did. I don't know. And you can't prove it. You may
Well,
assume.
people seen him.
Don't tell me what other people... I heard what she saw. She saw him take green that someone handed him and put it under the coffee can. That's what she testified to. Now, I don't know whether that money that was handed to him was intended to be a tip, and it's very possible that he helped himself to a couple of bucks out of this can. I don't know, but more importantly, this is a court, and you can't prove it. Do you understand?
Well, I could prove how much was supposed to be in there, and I could
No,
prove
you
how
can't.
much he tried to hand
No.